Hi, I'm Gary White for Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Chad Mattingly, who's the Marion County Clerk, and we're here to talk about the election that's coming up. It's going to be the primary election here in Kentucky. It's going to be on Tuesday, June the 23rd. It was pushed back about a month because of the COVID-19 situation. But there are still opportunities for people to vote, and there's actually lots of other additional opportunities for people to vote this time, correct?
There are probably more options to vote this election, Gary, than any other previous election in Kentucky. All registered Democrats and Republicans are eligible to vote in the primary, just like regular. Of those people that are eligible to vote, every voter is eligible to vote absentee.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that don't want to get out. We were just downstairs and you saw the operation where we're putting those absentee ballots together and getting those processed and getting those out. People can go online to apply for an absentee ballot. It's elect.ky.gov.
Okay.
After they fill that form out on the internet, we get it instantly.
Okay.
We process that, and the next, as long as we get our supplies from the state and what the state's providing us, then we get those out in the next day. When somebody votes absentee, they can send that back either with the postage paid envelope that will come with it, no cost to the voter, or they can drop them off at the county clerk's office. We have a drop box in the lobby, plus you can bring them into the office if you want to give it to somebody.
And the building itself is at present closed, but it's going to be opening up on Monday, June the 8th, right?
On June the 8th, a lot of stuff's going on here at this office. Now, we've still been doing renewals, we've still been doing transfers, we've still been doing business as usual without doing it as usual. We've been doing all our transactions through the drop box, through mail, or over the phone. We can take a credit card, debit card over the phone if a person has their driver's license number or their license plate number. We can renew their tags, mail them to them, and they can pay over the phone with a credit or debit card. And then if they have their renewal notice, they can put that with a check in our drop box and we'll mail it out. Generally, you get it in a day or two. We send out that mail twice a day. But June the 8th, we're opening back up to the public. It's going to look a little different. We're still retrofitting the office to where there'll be a barrier between the staff and the public so that we're not, you know, if somebody came in that was unbeknownst to them, was positive for COVID or flu or, you know, any type of communicable disease, then we'd be giving that to the next person.
Right.
So there's going to be a barrier. Hopefully, it's not done yet, but that's kind of the reason we come up with the June 8th date, is waiting to get that installed in the office.
Right. And for the ballots now, with the absentee ballots, if somebody does want to vote, and everyone, for this election, everyone is eligible for an absentee ballot.
Yes, sir.
Historically, you've had to have certain qualifications to be eligible.
And you can do absentee in person as well.
Okay.
If you don't want to vote from home, which is easy, and you know, we send instructions on how to do it, and we're always available to talk by phone, 270-692-2651. If somebody wants to still vote in person, they can do that absentee. We're going to have 2 weeks of in-person voting here at the David R. Harrigan Government Building, 223 North Spalding Avenue.
Okay.
We're going to have a couple of poll workers here every day, Monday through Friday from 8:20 to 4:20, to where people can come in, they can cast their ballot before the election date. Ideally, we can try to stagger as many people out as possible, because on election day, we're still going to have in-person voting from 6 to 6, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do it throughout the county.
Right, we want to talk about that. Normally, you've had different precincts, 18, I believe you said there were?
We've got 17 precincts and then absentee.
Okay. So there normally were 17 precincts throughout Marion County for voting, but this time, for this election, the building behind us, in the distance there, is going to be the one and only place for everybody in the county to actually vote in person on primary day, Tuesday, June the 23rd, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
It's at 214 North Harrison Street is the address of that building. It's the 21st Century Learning Center as of right now. A lot of people call it the old shop building from Lebanon High School.
Right.
The fire department precinct generally votes there. Now we're going to have it set up completely different than the way those voters that generally vote there. It's going to be completely different. Everyone will come in one entrance. They'll sign in, get their ballot. Then they'll go into a couple of staging areas. We're going to try to get as many people in the building, in the air conditioning as we can, because it's going to be June 23rd. It could be 100 degrees outside.
Right.
I think we can get about 40 in the building, keeping a safe distance from one another, the way we've got it planned out. So you'll sign in, get your ballot, then you'll go through some staging area, and then it'll open up into a room where there'll be several tables to mark your ballot. Once you get your ballot marked, you can put it in the machine on the way out the door, and you'll go out a different exit than you entered. That way nobody's crossing paths and breathing on each other and sneezing on each other. And
now, and that's for everybody in the county. So if you normally went to somewhere close to home, this is the one and only place for doing that.
If you voted in Holy Cross, or in Gravel Switch, or in Jessietown, or Raywick, or Loretta, or St. Francis, or any of the Lebanon precincts, it's not, the precincts in Lebanon, it's not a big difference between a drive from the VFW to here.
Right.
It's not a big difference between voting in this building that we're facing and the building behind us.
Right.
But I can definitely understand somebody that's in Holy Cross or in Gravel Switch, or in, you know, I grew up in St. Mary's, and I voted at St. Charles, and that's where I wanted to vote, and that's where I looked forward to voting there. Unfortunately, on this election, and there are a lot of factors that are playing into why we're doing what we're doing. Mostly it's mandated by the state, but
and how's it going to work?
You know, logistically getting poll workers in every precinct
would be difficult.
You know, there are, understandably so, some poll workers that want to kind of stay secluded during this time, and I don't blame them at all. And so we've got lots of options.
So the options are, everybody is available to do absentee voting, and you can do that by mail and just either call the clerk's office or go on the website and enter your information. You'll need, I think you said, your driver's license.
Well, you'll need your social security number and your birth date. That's how the online portal verifies that you are who you say you are. Okay. That's the first step in the verification process.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people are worried about security during all this, and it's understandable. It's something new. You know, we've been hesitant to adopt some of the technological changes that the state's been pushing over the last couple of years, because if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
In this election, we don't really have that option. So when you go onto the portal to apply for the ballot, the first step is to supply your social security number and your birth date. Then you go through there and you verify some other information, and then you electronically sign the application using the signature from your driver's license. Now, those ballots that we send out have 2 different envelopes that must be signed by the voter for that ballot to count. We verify the first one before we even open the ballot up or open the envelope up. We verify that signature, and that signature is verified against their voter registration card.
Okay.
So the voter must have, you know, signatures. People's handwritings change, you know, might get a little shakier, or might, but for the most part, your signature stays pretty well identifiable.
It's similar.
We'll verify that signature before we even open up the envelope. And then on the inside, there's another signature that has to be verified. At that point, we take off all identifying information, and you're left with an envelope with just a ballot inside of it. We put those to the side. Those don't get opened up until they're all together, separate from any identifiable information. So we have no idea how the person votes. So You know, security, we want to make sure that the person that's casting the ballot is the person that is supposed to be casting the ballot.
Right.
There's about 5 levels of verification that go on there. After that, we make sure that the voters, how they vote is secure. I don't want somebody knowing how I vote. I don't want to know how somebody else is voting. It's a private thing, and we won't have any idea how anybody votes.
Right. And that's all with the mail-in or the drop-off. Both
Yes.
ways, they work with both ways.
Yes.
But you do need, by June 15th, in order to get the mail-in one, you need to contact, either go to the website or give a phone call by June 15th.
We won't be able to
Right.
mail any, if we get an application after June 15th, we won't be able to mail that out.
Okay.
In this election, we'll still have almost a week of in-person early absentee voting
Right.
that people can take advantage of. And then we'll also have the ability for someone to, if they don't want to wait in a line here, because I think when we open up on June 8th, we're going to have lines.
Right.
We're going to have lines for people to vote. We're going to have lines for people to want to do vehicle transactions. We're going to have lines, people wanting to get in the deed room. It's going to be interesting
Yes.
this time next week.
But so they still have the opportunity to either drop off, and there's a drop-off box in the building.
Yes,
They
sir.
can drop it off themselves, or you can also, the in-person voting will actually be at a machine in the building, correct? Just like regular.
In-person voting is going to look a lot like a regular. The
Right.
people that vote in this building normally,
That's what it's going to look like.
it's going to look a lot like that.
Okay.
We won't have as many poll workers. You know, we're going to do that with, we have, our poll workers have been amazing. We've had some that have volunteered to do the processing of the absentee ballots. We've have some that are volunteering to do the in-person voting here at the David R. Harrigan building for the 2 weeks leading up to the election. And then we're going to have 12 poll workers that'll work on election day to try to help everybody move through the system as quickly as possible.
Right.
But the best way to move election day as quickly as possible is for people to take advantage of the early opportunities that they have available to them in this election.
Right. So it's by June 15th to have one mailed to you. Now, if they have their ballot, they need to have it postmarked by June 23rd. Is that correct?
It must
to
be
count.
postmarked by June 23rd.
Okay.
I'm thinking that if you haven't got it into the mail the weekend prior, and you can bring it and drop it off in the drop box,
Be ideal.
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if I'm not going to do the mail this time because I want to be the first person to do I'm saving my vote to work through some logistics on the in-person early voting. I want to make sure before anybody else comes in to vote, we've got that ironed out. So that's how I'm going to be casting my ballot. But if I was doing it by mail, and I've got family members that are doing it by mail, I'm telling them, get it back in the mail as quickly as possible. If you get to the point to where it's the weekend before the election, this election only, it's never been allowed before, but the voter can drop off their ballot. So take advantage of that.
Right. Historically, an absentee had to be mailed.
Had to be mailed.
Processed through the
Had to go through the
system.
mail system.
Right. So there's lots of different things taking place this election, but there's many opportunities for everybody to take part. Again, what's the website for them to go visit if they wanted to do it through the website?
If I was a voter right now and I wasn't worried about voting in person, I'd go onto the website while you're watching this. You know, it takes a minute or two to go through the portal. It's www.elect.ky.gov is how I get to it. There's a couple other, there's go vote KY. But elect.ky.gov, you'll scroll down a little bit past that top header, and then you'll see election dates. It's right above those election dates.
Okay.
It says click here.
And that's way you can do it online. They'll mail it to you, then you can mail it back in and take care of it that way.
Or if you're not internet savvy,
Just go
give us a call at 270-692-2651. We can get that application processed for you. That way The state sends us the information that we need the next day. That way we can go ahead and get that ballot out.
That's right. Great. And an in-person is going to be here at the government building, and it's going to be for the 2 weeks prior. So
it starts June 8th.
June 8th.
Monday through Friday from 8:20 to 4:20, which is the normal county clerk business hours.
Okay. Through the 22nd.
Through the 22nd, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then the actual in-person on Election Day, which is Tuesday, June 23rd, is going to be at the building behind us, at the 21st Century Building, and that's for the entire county.
And it's from 6 to 6 on Election Day, just like normal.
And you'll have to bring your ID for that like you normally do?
I would definitely bring an ID.
Okay.
Now, when we open back up on the 8th, you notice I've got my mask here.
Yeah, got my mask.
We've been wearing masks up until the point that we got on camera here.
Right.
It's going to be a little different when you come to the Hurricane Building on June 8th. I hope to the Lord that this is short-lived, but for this time being, there'll be a deputy sheriff at the door. We're going to limit the number of people that can be in the building at one time. Everybody that's in the building, whether they're working or whether they're a constituent, are going to have a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
requirement for.
It's going to be a little different, and
yep. But just go on that website, give a call, and if you have any other questions. But hopefully it will all work out smoothly, and we'll have the election results at the end of the month.
I hope to have them. Yeah. That night.
Give me a little leeway there.
Yeah.
But again, I've been talking with Marion County Clerk Chad Mattingly. This has been Gary White for Channel 6, Central Kentucky Television.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.